I wonder what I did wrong. I probably set this stream up to do something wrong. I probably set this thing up wrong. I think I did something wrong. Oh, I think this thing's unlisted. That must be it. Let's see. Public. Yeah. I think I set this stream up to only be unlisted. I'm going to stop, and I'm going to start again. I think I fixed it. All right. That's the beginning of the show. It was weird. And I totally broke it. I broke it. I broke the beginning of the show. How about that? How about that? Check me outside. I wonder how well that worked. I don't know. I broke it. Just a little bit, though. We'll see how this goes. I probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't have done that. I'm guessing. I'm guessing I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have clicked that button. Yeah, there we go. I wonder what it's sending to, though. What are you broadcasting to? Oh. Must be. Okay. There we go. Should be working. Is that working now? No. Do 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 do. Boo do 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 do. Do 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 do. There we go. We have to go over to that thing. And then I have to go to this thing. And then I gotta go to Livestream. I wonder if it's actually broadcasting. Okay, here we go. Pop out chat. I may have fixed it. Whoops. There we go. Yeah, it's actually working now. Okay. Took a second. We had to log out and log back in. I think we have sound working now. We got all the stuff. Yes. Okay. Scene 1. What are you doing? Okay, there we go. All right. Hey, everybody. It's Monday. That was a Monday beginning if I've ever seen one before. That's totally how you start out a Monday show, right? Monday show. Can't even remember where the camera is anymore. I moved it over here. Now it's wiggling around for just a second. Luckily, it's not on my desk anymore. So it will stop here eventually, but we're back. It's Monday. Yeah, totally having a Monday beginning of the day there. I started the stream unlisted on accident. And then I was like, man, what's going on here? And ever so smartly, I turned off the unlisted, and then it booted me out. And people were just showing up going like, what happened? But now it's working again. And I got something all over my glasses here. Hold on, I'm cleaning them while I'm live streaming to the internet. It's always good to clean your glasses while in front of hundreds of people. It's always a good time to do that. But yeah, it totally is Monday, everybody. I'm glad to be back here. We've got some cool stuff going on. Nothing too crazy as it is rainy and wintry outside in the middle of summer. It's not really wintry. It's like hot, muggy, and raining. So it's like overcast and dark. And but it's muggy. You guys, you got to think about the humidity, you know what I mean? You know, sometimes you just gotta sit down and think about the old humidity. You know what I mean? Got a few things to talk about today. There are a few things in the news that I have found to be pretty important. With a lot of people yelling at me on Facebook. So let me close that so I don't look over there anymore and have to be yelling at people. I think it was kind of funny, like some fish people decided to friend me on Facebook, which is fine. It's totally fine if you all want to friend me on Facebook and have Facebook-type conversations, but they were like, man, I thought all you would talk about on Facebook was fish. And I'm like, it's pretty difficult for me to even only talk about fish on this channel that is pretty much about plants, fish, and aquarium-related stuff. Because of the context of the world that we live in, I think that the aquarium hobby is amazing. It's important, but it is not the only thing that is going on. It would be weird if I was like wandering around with a pair of blinders on going like, I don't ever want to hear about anything else that's going on unless it's a fish tank. I find that to be strange. I find it strange that stuff goes on. And I'll admit it, a lot of people have opposed me politically, which is fine as long as people are, you know, having a constructive conversation and stuff like that. Then I'm more than happy to encourage that kind of back and forth and exchange of ideas and stuff like that. It's very important to me to maintain that stance. But as soon as people like kind of what I would say is they go over the line, that's when I just, you know, I'm sorry, can't deal with you anymore, you know. But there's a lot of stuff going on politically in the U.S. right now that is very troubling. So if people want to talk about that kind of stuff, feel free to do it over there. I thought I was going to bring up some of it on the show here today, but I think honestly, I'm probably going to grab one of my other YouTube channels that doesn't have any videos, doesn't have any content on it or whatever, and I think I might do some posting on there about some of the stuff that's going on. I'm considering it. As the studio's kind of complete here, I don't think it would be that big of a reach to be able to do really quick kind of, you know, commentary on the day-to-day news that's going on. And so that's kind of one of the things that I'm considering, just to be able to put those ideas out, let them exist, and you know, because YouTube sort of has that. People on YouTube generally have that like no filter kind of situation, so you actually do kind of get the actual opinion of certain people certain times. Whether it's appropriate or not, that's easily debated, but you definitely do get a lot more just straight up honest, you know, feedback from people, you know. So Joel Gillett is here. He says, I got my fish people, I got my plant people. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of fish. I certainly am. You know, in comparison to a lot of other YouTubers out there, Like, I guess Corey, Aquarium Co-op would be a great example. Like, that guy has day-to-day interactions with lots and lots and lots of types of fish and stuff like that. So sometimes I do get left in the dark with species questions and things like that, but pretty basic fish care, I am pretty well versed in most of that, from saltwater to freshwater. So we do the fish stuff and everything, and I think the common nomenclature is like fish people. You know, those are those fish people. Okay, you know. But also at certain times, you know, the thing that I really delve deep into is plants. Plants are kind of my big thing, and it's the ecosystem. Now, one of the reasons that I get into fish tanks and ecosystems and all of this does have a sort of basics on, and politics isn't the right way to put it, but I just think the existence in 2019. So if I was to talk about climate change, people think that that's a political talking point, which it's really not. You know, it's not a political thing. It's been politicized in the U.S. by certain groups, but it's not political talk to talk about the climate change that is happening on the planet. It really is, you know, whether it's going to be as catastrophic as some people or less catastrophic than other people estimate. Yes, I think some people could talk about that for a really long time. But one of the things is that I constantly hear from people that like, oh, climate change isn't real. They don't know what's going to happen, and they have no definitive proof. And it's like the unfortunate side is, what does it look like in science when there is definitive proof of a ton of study, right? The Manhattan Project is one of the things that immediately comes to mind, is that, hey, if we split an atom, it will explode, right? And then the next thing you know, we have nuclear weapons, right? So leading up to that first explosion, right, it's all conjecture, it's all theory, it's all, well, we think this is going to happen, we think that, they're constantly doing, they're constantly doing research to try and figure out what's going to happen, and eventually they push them to the point where going like, all right, well, we have to test it to see what happens. And then after that, the whole world has changed forever because we have nuclear weapons and things like that. So that's one of the ways that I try to equate to people that science isn't that far off when there's that much information, right? It's not something that has zero information that they're going off of, right? Now, the reason that I bring that up is because I'm wildly interested in fish tanks and planted aquariums, right? So aquascaping, the plants, right? How does that relate to somebody in 2019? Well, we know that climate change is happening to a degree, right? What that degree is, well, who knows, okay? But we do know that the economic climate is changing in the United States, at least. Canada, Mexico, Australia, the UK, there's a lot of other first world nations. I have more experience living in a air quote first world country, so that's where a lot of my ideas and things project onto, because I'm trying to solve problems in the country that I live in, right? So, as I'm what's the correlation there to somebody in 2019? The economic climate is definitely changing, especially in the United States. We're talking about retirement funds, pensions, that kind of stuff, and long-term, and we start to talk about long-term employment and things like that, right? A good example would be a radiology technician. Somebody that I know went to school to become an X-ray tech. That's what they're normally called. Those are the people that read the X-rays and really break down exactly what's going on to pass on information to the doctor so that the doctor can make, a good treatment, essentially a treatment plan for the patient, right? A lot of people that went to school for that realize like, oh, I get out, I make a good wage. This is something I'm going to be able to do the rest of my life. I'm going to be able to feed my family, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And with machine learning now, starting to find out that X-ray techs are probably going to be phased out over time because the computers can actually do that analysis. Not necessarily right now, but potentially they're going to be able to do that analysis much quicker than a human being can because of how many cases they're able to pull from of previous information, right? Now, somebody that was an X-ray tech like that is going to have to move on to something. You have to move on to something else. And unfortunately, more often than not, most of those jobs they move on to are a lesser, right? Part of what I believe and I'm expecting to happen, which it just seems to keep going that way, is that part of what Americans are going to have to do is have multiple little tiny jobs, right? One of those little tiny jobs is going to have to be growing some of your food. Now, that doesn't mean that it's the only food you're ever going to eat, but if you're in a position where it's pretty expensive and cost prohibitive to constantly buy food all the time, or you're somebody that has an ability to grow some of your food and exchange that for certain things that you need, it's going to be a positive position for anybody in the future. So let me kind of break that down. Is that if you said, I know how to grow food, I don't imagine that anybody out there in the world would look down on you, right? And they're like, excuse me, sir. Growing food. This man knows how to grow tomatoes, right? So I think that is one of the extensions that is very important for the aquarium, right? To be able to bring the aquarium into people's homes to teach a lot of people that don't know about the ecosystem, how to grow plants outside, because that really is like kind of point A to point B and all of that stuff that you learn along the way. Even just growing like ornamental flowers, for instance, I can't remember the name of the flower, but there's a type of flower that grows, I'm no expert in the flower field, but if you raise the pH, it's going to grow blue. If you lower the pH, it's going to grow pink, or one way or the other, right? Beaufuse Dabrun, Bosfuss Dabrun says a computer radiology machine will never replace a human. Okay. All right. Well, I guess just cling to that. Cling to that emotion, right? I don't know. There's a lot of people are confused why I would even be talking about what I'm talking about, but that's life. Anyhow, so one of the things that you start to be able to learn is that how to grow plants in an aquarium really kind of starts to give you the tools of how to grow some plants outside. Why would it be important to grow plants outside? As I mentioned earlier, a lot of the economics in the United States are going to change. I mean, if you just start to look like what happened to taxi cab drivers, a lot of taxi cabs are gone because of Uber. You start to look at hotels. Hotels are gone or are going by the wayside because of, what's the name of it? Airbnb is a perfect example. Like for me, I have like 5 different jobs. I have 5 different jobs. If one of them goes away, it's not a complete catastrophe on my end. And that's a big way of how it's going to be in the future in the United States. If you just start to look at, any of the economic data that is in the United States about employment and stuff like that, pensions have slowly but surely been taken away. Bosfuss de Brun is very much on the machines will never possess intuition. Well, I mean, that's a bold statement that you must know the future, but, radiology techs are a perfect example that a radiology technician can think about certain situations when they look at an x-ray, right? And there's only a finite amount of things that you can remember. If you remembered every x-ray you ever looked at, you'd go crazy. And not to mention, it's all the x-rays that have ever been loaded into the system. So it would be able to go through millions and millions of things to analyze what's going on in complicated situations and figure out what to do. Ken's here. Oh, what's up, Ken? Big D Smoke, Dennis, and Ken are both here. They both went to the donut meetup, and I'm hoping to do another donut meetup here fairly soon. That would be fun. And plus, I like eating donuts. I'm a man. Trevor Crawford says, not to mention growing plants outside will help with understanding propagation fundamentals. That's a perfect example right there. Like, these two things are really going to go in handy in the future, right? Regardless of just the hobby aspect. So that's the whole reason I kind of brought that up, is that the hobby aspect is crazy beneficial, right? The meditative like state, having wins, having losses with, plants growing, plants not growing, fish breeding, I got new shrimp. There's a lot that goes on with that. But, there's a lot that goes on into it. But there's just on the hobby side. But part of what I'm talking about is being able to bring some of it into your life, right? So that some of your life is actually, because we honestly, we have to look at it this way. If we go out into the world and we're doing work, right? We have this kind of elaborate barter system that we all live in, where we do something specifically for work in exchange for money. Then we're able to utilize that money in a air quote more efficient manner, right? To be able to, go get donuts on the weekend. It's an extremely elaborate process to actually make donuts if you have nothing. You don't have a fryer, you don't have oil, you don't have flour, you know what I'm saying? You start adding up all the crazy stuff it would take to make donuts. Our barter system of having money is quite efficient when you're able to go, all right, I can go dedicate some of my time. And if some of your livelihood would be, I'm growing a half acre of sorghum and I'm growing a half acre of Brussels sprouts, right? And at the end of the year, hey, you've got enough money for Christmas, your bills, your mortgage, all that kind of stuff just from this thing that was relayed over because you were into a fish tank hobby, right? All the things that we do end up being this kind of accumulated type situation. That's kind of the important thing to stick to, realistically, as far as I'm concerned. But how all of these things can kind of combine in a spiderweb effect to help assure the success of everybody that's like watching this channel, watching this video, whatever, is I think important to help pass that on to you guys. Like, maybe it's not the thing that you want to do, but maybe it sparks an idea for you in the future that you go, oh, hey, wait a minute, I know how to make blah, 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 something better, and it might turn into something that could work. Because right now we do all this work, we exchange our work for money, we get that money, and then we try to figure out how to utilize that money to be able to do something like a hobby, right? Which is our fish tank stuff. But if that could be part of the day-to-day thing that you get to deal with, and then wait a minute, I get to relax and maybe do something else during my hobby, that could be a really good deal for people. Because I've talked to so many people that are like, man, I would love to have a fish store, I would love to be breeding fish, I'd love to be growing plants, I'd love to be, but then it's like, well, I got to go to my job on Monday, and then I'm gone for 6 days a week, and I don't have time to actually do that thing. But the combination of gardening and fish tanks and stuff like that, you're going to learn a lot from them. And the gardening season's only this very finite period of time when you actually have enough sun and we have enough, nice weather and stuff to actually be doing some gardening and stuff like that. Whereas your aquariums that are inside, you can just it's spring. right? It's late spring, early summer, all year round in your tanks, so you're able to just keep growing, doing some fun stuff, and especially with things like the $1 per gallon sale, where you can get a $10 aquarium for $12 or whatever it is, and set up a tank, do some experiments in it, see what works good, see what doesn't work well, and it's a lot of fun stuff. Skandin Govindan, man, that is a hard name to try and figure out. Maybe it's Scott and Dan. Govindan. I don't know. Hi, what bottom feeder can I put in a 10-gallon pond outside with white clouds? The temperature of 62 to 80. I would get concerned with a 10-gallon that's outside, honestly. I personally would get concerned with a 10-gallon that's outside. Evaporation, water quality, all that kind of stuff. But if you have something that is filling up, and doing a bit of water changes and stuff like that, then I would. What kind of bottom feeder? Any of the small bristlenose. Any of the small plecostomus, any of the nano plecostomus, like bristlenose, come to mind. Like, they would probably have a decent time. But a 10-gallon pond outside, I'm just really concerned about. So I probably wouldn't add any more fish to it. If you got the white cloud mountain minnows in it, like you said, I would just leave those in there and not worry about the bottom feeding, is what I would do. Let's see. UG Aquatics says, I tried teaching a local corn farmer about the nitrogen cycle, and he laughed at me, said he knew that already. He farms corn. Yep. That's one of those things. Like, and hey, some people are going to get pissed at me because I'm talking about this and I'm talking about that. Okay, fine. Hey, get mad. It's okay. You're allowed to be mad. That's fine. It's a part of life that sometimes people don't. Some people just don't like other people. Okay, that's fine. Cool. Nobody's bending your arm to have you out here listening to what I'm talking about anyhow. So, and don't worry, and don't worry, because life is short. It'll all be over soon. That sounds rude. Longhouse Incorporated says, big question. So when are you going to do a time-lapse painting? I can't be the only one dying to see it. I've taken some attempts at doing, art videos for YouTube, and I don't know. I'm not very good at making them, first of all. Like, I'm not that great at actually, like, following through on actually making them. And, honestly, I don't make that many paintings these days anymore. So, like, this piece right here, you guys could actually go get this piece from the artist. I commissioned that piece to be made. You guys can go buy prints if you like. I have no idea where. Maybe it's right here. We're lucky. I totally copy. There we go. There is wait, how many chats do I have open? I have 2 chats open. Which one's the real one? Which one's the real? Oh, I have duplicates of the same chat. Okay, so no worries. We'll just move that one like that. And I can actually stick. There's the link. Stick the landing. I don't make any money off of that. It's literally just, hey, if you guys want to go check it out, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. There's 2 different sizes. One's $80 for the big one, so it'll be that size. It's a beautiful print, and then the small one's like $30. So, like I said, you don't have to buy it. No pressure. I don't make any money off of it, so kind of just is what it is. Like, if it's something that you guys are interested in and you want to pick one up, you totally can. How many chats am I supposed to have open here? What is the deal? Okay, so now I got that one open, and I'm going to close this one. All right, there we go. I have 1 chat open. Okay, there we go. But I am planning on helping out my friend that actually makes these to make some videos. So hopefully I can help out with making some videos and try to get some of that together at some point in time. We'll see. Spadoinkle says, hi, all moved about 120 common bristlenose plecos to their own grow-out tank, and Dad is sitting on eggs again. Safe to move Dad and eggs to the grow-out before my new rainbows eat the fry. Yeah, I would, yeah, that's what I would do. I mean, it's, yeah, you're running like a little bit of a chance to like have some problems, but I would legitimately just move it. You know, it's the right thing to do. Sometimes you just got to pull the Band-Aid off, and it might work, might not work, but that's what I would do. The Longhouse says, I'm an artist as well, and if you do it, I'll do a painting or caricature of you. I actually have some art, like time-lapse videos and stuff like that I posted up, and honestly, they just didn't do very well. And a big part of it probably has to do with, you know, like, this is the wrong channel, which, like, you know, people come onto the live stream and they're like, why is this guy talking about economics or politics or whatever? And I'm like, hey, you know, I am who I am, right? So, and this is literally a show of me just talking about stuff that's going on. Yeah, I do my best to answer questions from you guys and stuff. As you guys know, I'm much more specific about answering questions from people that post onto the Patreon on Fridays. You know, let me straighten this out a little bit. Oh, yeah, there we go. That was driving me nuts. But on Fridays, you know, I will go a lot more in depth and actually read all the Patreon post questions. And, you know, somebody told me a while ago, they were like, man, it's so rude that you only answer the Patreon questions. And it's like, they support this channel by kicking in like $1 a month. You know, it's $1 a month minimum, and you could always do more or whatever, or less, or, well, no, I guess you can't do less than $1. It doesn't divide up $1, so you couldn't do 50 cents or whatever. But, you know, it's like people that are actually kicking $1, $5, $10, $20. There's some huge, you know, donors on there that do more than that. But, you know, why would I disrespect the people that support the channel? You know what I mean? It's like we got members in the chat like Shelby Ray Lane, UG Quadix, Big D Smoke, like their name, 54 Punchy, like their names show up bright green in the chat, you know, at least on my end over here. They have, you know, and they have little avatars after their name to show how long that they've been a member and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of how it works, man. I think if people pay $200, $300 a month to their cable bill and then, you know, have, you know, only tune in to watch like the Big Bang Theory or whatever it is that they're watching, it's a little bit odd. It's a little bit odd to me that people would be like, well, answer my question. I don't know. You don't know who I am. I don't know. You don't know who I am. It's like, well, I've told a lot of people, it's always been my opinion, this is what I did. I got rid of cable TV and I sponsor the YouTube channels I like. Let's see, like Netflix, blah, blah, you know, that kind of stuff. And I save a lot of money, and also like it direct sponsors the people that I want to sponsor, like Fish for Thought. I sponsor his YouTube channel. He gives me a shout out every time, you know, but like Fish for Thought, I sponsor his channel because I want him to keep making videos. Like, I think his videos are hilarious, entertaining, and he's a really cool dude. So I sponsor his channel. Like, that's an example right there. Like, he keeps making videos and they entertain me, so I'm all about sponsoring, right? And you know, it's just kind of the deal. Fish Keeperist is wondering what's after the snake avatar. That's a secret. That's a secret. But once you get to the 6 months, that's when the new avatar kicks in. Which there are a couple of people that are at the 5 month mark, so it's going to be popping in there pretty soon. But you know, it's one of those things. So I answer those guys' questions and stuff like that, and you know, I do what I can. but sometimes I talk about the stuff that's going on with me. The Longhouse says, I was supposed to do a caricature of Jimmy, but our lives ended up getting hectic, especially with a new baby. So I haven't been tattooing, painting, or drawing, but I need to get back into it. I feel your pain with my new baby, who's right here down in the corner. If anybody's noticed, I got a brand new picture of the little peanut bear, and yeah, so I got the new baby also. So I feel you. It's a bit of a struggle these days to. Oh, I can stretch her out and make her funny shaped. There we go. It is a bit of a struggle these days to do things like, to do things like art and stuff like that. I gotta get the arrow then. Ask and you shall receive. If you're talking about the unsung hero of the channel, the arrow, you are correct. Definitely is the arrow is the unsung hero. How do we? Oh, it's the Z-axis is what I'm looking for. Rotate you, arrow. Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Jacob. Shout out to the yellow arrow, the unsung hero of the Corvus Oskin live stream. It is. I mean, I don't even know. I think it's proudly. I think it's proudly the hero of this live stream. I think. I mean, maybe it's Olivia and the arrow, probably the only ones that get the shout out, legit. And I think you're correct, though. I think I would say y'all's correct. Alvin Alejo with the $1 super chat. I missed it earlier. And Dylan Martin, the $2 super chat. And Terry's Tropical Tank became a member. Well, right on. Thanks, Terry. Thank you, Terry. That's also, people have asked, hey, what's more important, memberships or super chats, and I get the thought process. The reason why both of them are available is that it's easier for some people to stay on platform. You can become a member. Members will get the posts from the separate different live streams, just the same as people on Patreon will get the posts from the other live streams. I did my best with this. I had Bentley over. We did a live stream that people got to watch live, and I'll be cutting it up. We'll definitely be cutting it up and posting some short clips and stuff from that with background video and those kinds of things, so that people can get an idea of what we were here talking about and stuff like that. But those of you that like it live and you like the if you guys like the long term, if you guys like the long term format, which I like being able to just kind of be free form and not necessarily have to be encumbered by there's only one thing to talk about or whatnot. Trevor Crawford's wondering how much light and fertilizer does the kid take. I'll tell you this much. I had to go buy $60 worth of child fertilizer today at the old store. I had to go grocery shopping. We realized we'd run out of, what was it? It's like, well, I got this organic turkey that's like a puree baby food turkey for Olivia, this one right here, and I don't know why. She just did not like it. I don't know why. So I had to go get that, and I had to get some plums and some prunes and I don't know, just a bunch of nonsense, yogurt and that kind of stuff, because we're phasing into different types of fertilizer for the baby. If anybody gets what I'm talking about. Baby fertilizer's food. Jim Smith says, remember the new Pogostemon erectus that I was so excited about? My mystery snails joined in my joy. They ate it from the roots up, including the new growth. Ooh, that is not the funnest thing. I'm sorry to hear that, Jim, but mystery snails can be a bit of a pain when it comes to plants, because it's sort of like, they're gonna do, they're gonna eat some plants. You don't know which ones they're gonna eat. It's normally the new additions, which you're most excited about, are the ones that they're eating, or maybe it's just 50% across the board. you know, that's just kind of the deal. Joel G from New Zealand, our favorite Kiwi, second only to Jake and Kiwi Mamo, and I can't remember how many other New Zealanders we have that watch the show, but no disrespect to you guys. I'm just drawing a brain fart. But he's asking if I taste the baby's foods myself. Yeah, everything except for the banana. Because I hate banana. Unless it's cooked banana. Then I can eat cooked banana. Problem is, with raw banana, so, like, if it's banana in, like, a pasteurized juice, I'll be fine. But, like, raw banana, for whatever reason, has, like, some kind of enzyme in it that just either I'm going to throw up or I'll just end up feeling like I'm going to throw up for, like, a while. So, yeah, get out of here, banana. I don't want it. Rumbus says my super chats don't work today. I'll stop trying now because I have to get up in 5 hours. Oh, buddy, I'm sorry, man. But that's okay. You're always Rumbust. You're always the smart in our heart. You're always on our mind. You help out so much. Longhouse is wondering how many people are in the chat. My counter says, hold on, 114. So, not bad. Good Monday. Good for a Monday. The show's definitely not growing. I will tell you guys that. I could literally open up my analytics right now and show you how, like, subscriber count just goes down like crazy. But somebody asked me, they were like, well, why don't you just try to play the game? And I'm like, I'd be like, what's the point in playing the game? I want to be, like, super famous or something? Like, okay, like, I'd like to be more successful for sure. But, like, things are going fine. And hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have a bunch of the big video projects done, and I think it'll be pretty cool. So, you know, right now in the summertime, I'm just doing a lot of filming and doing a lot of construction around here to get things set up, you know, for kind of that, like kind of October-ish time, October, November, December. And, you know, you guys will notice, like, a lot of YouTubers, like, they go daily, they have a bunch of videos and stuff starting in, like, November. But specifically, like, December 1st, if you notice somebody that is like, I'm going to start vlogging and doing a daily vlog every single day and 100 videos come out in December, it's because the ad rate for how much money they make goes way up for the month of December because Christmas and the end of the year blowouts and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it just comes down to, I could put out like a super epic video right now and it only get like 5,000 views or something like that. Or I could put up an epic video in October and it get 5,000 views and make 3 or 4 times the amount of money off having made a thing that is a product that, you know, kind of the deal. Which is funny because, like, the super chats and members from today, 2 from the Fish Tank Barn, 5 from Jacob White, 2 from Dylan, 1 from Alvin, and Terry's Tropical Tank became a member. So that's 2, 4, 10, yeah, $10, 12, or 13, 14, $14, right? $14 is probably more than I would make off of a video that got 5,000 views anyhow. Just so you guys know. Like, that's how wonky weird it is. But that's just how it is. So, you know. Michael Sarr got me Meadow 45 on eBay for $125 this weekend. One of my pumps through a rod. Much air for the totes. Ooh, actually, you know, Amazon sent me a thing. Where did that go? That's not it. Well, that's taking a really long time for Amazon to load. Oh, that's right. It's like Amazon Day. So, yeah, if you guys go on there and buy anything, like, use the Amazon link, you know. Shoot some credit our direction, right? Where'd that go? Amazon. Let's just go to Amazon. But where did that go? It was like the Prime Day thing. The Alita air pump. They sent me a thing saying that one of them was on Prime Day. Which one? Well, now I'm not seeing it. Prime Day deal. That's not that air pump. That's a different pump. But one of the Alitas was on. I think it was this. No. One of them was on super sale, and I want to say it was the 4 liter per minute one. No. Where did that go? That's not it. That's not it. Well, I don't know. I had a thing that I was going to share with you guys. I don't know if anybody has used any one of these. This is what I'm interested in. Is this a linear piston air pump? Let's see. Unique design, oilless, lubricated design. The compression air is purified, ideal to provide oxygen in aquarium, fish farms, and hydroponic systems with 12 outlets. What is this? Air pump outlet, commercial air pump for aquarium. Yeah, I don't see. Driven by electromagnetic motor, adopts straight line reciprocal motion to produce air and more reliable or more reasonable in structure. I don't know. I wonder if anybody's used this. So here's this link. If anybody can let me know if you've ever used one of these. Because I keep seeing ads for these, the like Vivo Sun air pump deal, and I don't know. I don't know that I'm feeling ballsy enough to spend like $50 to get one and see how well they work. But I'd be willing to try one out. But if you guys are really looking for like an air pump that is for sure an air pump that is kicking like chicken and it works really, really well. Let's see. This one is extremely expensive, but this is the brand. I mean, it's $170, but this thing is 60. Why don't the buttons work on Amazon? What is the deal? What's your damage, bro? Why you no work? Okay, well, it works on this one. So the 40 liter per hour one is $135, which actually, if you think about it, it's really not that bad. When you think about how many tanks it'll run, like, 40 liters per hour. It says on here it's rated for ponds up to 15,000 gallons. But a better equation is the 200 to 1,000 square feet of surface area is kind of how you can break it down. I would break it down and then half it is what I normally do. I always want to shoot over the top. Terry's Tropical Tank says those suck. They get loud and hot, and I mean really hot. Okay. All right. I trust you guys. I mean, I'm saying use the Alita. I was wondering if anybody had used the other ones because I keep getting ads for those other ones and emails from that company, and I'm like, I'm not gonna accept a free one. Like if Fluval sponsored some of the lights, like the lights on the reef tank, which I made a couple videos about those a while back, but those guys sponsored those lights. I was happy to do that, but I don't accept any of those products from those weird, from the weird emails I get all the time. Like, hey, try this out. It's like, I don't want to burn my house down. If it's a reputable company like Kessel or something, I would try that out. But like I said, I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to order one of those and one of those air pumps and see if that works or not. But the second link there, the Alita air pumps, those are awesome. Like I think Corey was he had one of the really big ones, like I think they're like 300 liter per hour or something like that. I almost just bought that off of Corey because it was such a good price that he was going to sell it to me for, even though I didn't really have a use for it. I was like, I bet that could just be in my shop until I have a crazy use for one of those pumps. You know what I mean? Like, I forget how much he was going to sell it to me for, but how much are those the really big ones? There's the 110 liter one. Maybe it was the 200. Maybe it was the 200 liter or something like that. I don't know. It's really big. So that one's like, so the 120 or 130 liter per minute one is $360. Oh, here it is. The 200 liter per minute Alita air pump, which is a lot, is $620. The AL120 is a septic air pump, which, by the way, guys, one of the videos that I'm working on is breaking down essentially the 3 stages of bacterial consumption for the nitrogen cycle in relation to having air or not having air, and which one is better. But I could really boil it down for you guys, because I did see somebody post it early on in the chat. I have no idea where that comment went, but as it went flying by, I was like, oh, I got to remember to answer that. Somebody was asking about, is there a thing possible as having too much air? Now, in relation to an aquarium and whatnot, there really isn't any way to have too much air. I mean, it could just be like a turbulent hot tub amount of air in there, and that might just be a little wild and a little too much, but realistically, air does a lot especially in the filtration process. Definitely keeping the bacteria that we want. The bacteria that we want benefiting our system. It is way easier to just be adding a good amount of air to our filtration, to our aquarium, and doing it that way. Now, you guys know I don't have air running in the visible part of my aquarium. I actually just run it in my sumps. One of the ways that I've been doing that recently is by I've been testing out those Zis filters from Aquarium Co-op, which, by the way, Aquarium Co-op is a sponsor. So if you guys go over there and you decide that you're like, oh, I want to get one of those Zis filters or one of those Fluval lights or some of the plants that Joel's talking about on the show here, just remember to go through our old affiliate link and go on through there, because they're an affiliate sponsor. So if we're talking about the show and the stuff that we got going on here, I realistically don't, I don't make any money off commenting and talking about products and stuff like that unless you guys buy something. So I'm not really on the hook to give anything a good review or a bad review or whatnot. Just so you guys know that. It's sort of like, I don't know, I feel like that's the happy middle ground of being sponsored. It's like, well, if I can honestly recommend something and then people go buy it and they're like, oh, your recommendation was good, and I basically make a small commission off of it, that seems like, I don't know, it seems like the best way to be sponsored by somebody, other than somebody just coughing up a ton of money so I can just only make YouTube videos all the time and make really big, amazing YouTube videos with a lot of production quality and editing and all that kind of stuff, because I'm really a one-man band here. You guys got to think, if I get a product and I got to test it out, that cuts into time when I got to do, the other stuff. I'm actually the guy that films it. I'm the guy that has to talk about it. I also have to research it and test it and film it and then build the computer when the computer breaks and get a camera and then find out what's going on with cameras. And then I got to get different SD cards because the old SD cards don't write fast enough because I ended up getting a new camera. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a lot. I really do hope that Canon comes out with a new camera someday that is worth spending some money on, though, because it's getting tiring. I really, really, really like shooting with the Canon RP. If you guys don't know, this last weekend I hustled my butt off in the hot, humid weather, filming and photographing a wedding. And I did a show with Bentley. And we did some other family stuff. Oh, it was a busy weekend. But, so we did all the photography and all that stuff for the wedding all day Saturday and into the night. And then, and I have to say, I'm really happy with the Canon RP. It was, I'll admit it, it was a little bit of money. It was like $1,200 for that camera, which in the world of cameras, that's really not that much money. But I really, really, really like shooting with that. I can't bring myself to get the Canon EOS R. It's $2,000, and it just feels like it's not exactly the camera I want it to be for $2,000. Bentley says all I want is the perfect camera. Yeah, all I want is the perfect camera. Well, realistically, the Canon C200 is the perfect camera. It's too expensive for me, though. It's like $7,000, and I'm like, nope, that's 3 of my truck that I drive around. Then I went and had to get my oil changed this morning, so if it gives you an idea how much my $2,000 truck was, plus I had to get the suspension fixed and some other stuff. But it really is. It's like 3 of my truck, right? $7,000, $7,500. Call it. I think the last time I saw it was $7,500. Dylan Martin says, have I seen the Canon C100? Yes, I've seen the Canon C100. It's just lacking some of the stuff that I need it to do. Whoa. And honestly, the C100 actually is a really good camera. It just doesn't do the stuff that I need it to do, like output video in a format that I could use readily. It also, the autofocus or the focal points on it are super limited to the very center of the frame because it's an older camera. It's like 7 or 8 years old. It doesn't have a touchscreen for focus points, which I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm almost 40 years old, and I literally am like, where's the touchscreen? Where's the touchscreen, guys? It doesn't have a touchscreen. Ooh, why is that? I don't know. But I literally love being able to hit my focus points and move them around and do it that way. The C200 is pretty much it, which they just dropped it like $1,000 off the price, but it dropped it down to $7,500. The C100 also doesn't do any 4K. Not that I do a lot of 4K, but it's going to be kind of important here in the future. Maybe 3 years down the road, there's going to be a lot more stuff that is going to kind of just have to be 4K, which is unfortunate. But that's the direction it's going. And, you got to be, you're going to spend that kind of money. You got to be like at least, it's not future-proof's not the right word, but future planned, okay, I'm going to need this to do some things, and, but they got some other cameras coming out, and we'll see what happens. This isn't really camera talk, but you guys know how it is. Better luck for getting a hippopotamus for Christmas. The perfect camera is a myth. What? I think, honestly, the perfect hybrid camera is a myth. As you guys know, most of the cameras I use is a hybrid, which means it shoots still photography and video. But if you're talking about video cameras, like the film camera I want 100% exists. And I don't really, to be honest with you guys, I don't need to buy a camera that takes pictures. I don't think I ever will have to ever buy a camera that just takes pictures ever again. I mean, I have a 6D Mark II, which actually a fan bought that for me, so it's not like I ever had the money for it. But the Canon RP, honestly, really shoots stills. I'm happy with them. I just, this morning I had to sit and go through. Okay, I haven't gone through all of the pictures. I have 2,300 pictures from this weekend, from the wedding and stuff. I've been going through them, and realistically, I'm like, there's not much more I need from a stills camera, than the Canon RP. It really, it shoots really nice, full frame, pictures, and they're good. It's fine. I think anything more than that, and I'm like, what? What do you need that for? It's like for billboards or something, and I'm never going to do that, you know. So let's see. Deborah Sanders added 2 Zis air filters for my 29-gallon along with my hang-on back, and everything is doing much better. Yeah, that's also one of the big things that I've found with having added the Zis filter to an aquarium that doesn't have a huge plant load. It's, you know, the one that I added it to was to the bamboo shrimp. You know, the bamboo shrimp really... they're filter feeders, so you really have to kind of dirty up the water a lot. So, you know, I was kind of utilizing not only the environment, but also the high tannins, the high flow rate, but not a ton of light going in there. So there's not a ton of light going in there, which means there's not a lot of photosynthesis. So there is photosynthesis happening, but it's all really slow growing plants and stuff like that. So I really was going that route and then seeing what would happen, you know, and I'm going to be real honest with you guys when I say I am very, very, very happy with adding the Zis filter to a sump, bringing in the oxygenation, a little extra filtration because of the K1 media and everything. It really, really, really has helped out, and I'm very happy with it. And I can 100% recommend it in the sump application. For me, I could never put it up in a tank. I could never... This is for me, guys. It's for me. I'm not mad at anybody that likes to have, you know, a filter like that in their tank or with the air bubbles going. But for me, it makes me lose my mind. And I just aesthetically, I'm like, I almost just can't even deal with it. Oh my gosh, we have a new member and I almost didn't even mention it. Boston, Maine Mike. Coming all the way in from Boston, my guy. Boston. Oh, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thanks for becoming a member and stuff. I mean, you know, people get mad at me because I do talk about Patreon and memberships and super chats and all that stuff. But hey, man, like, people that support the show, like, you guys deserve some kind of attention. Why not? Why wouldn't you? I mean, you put $1, you know, you put a $1 where your mouth is, right? You're like, here's my couple bucks a month. Like, yeah, that's how that goes, right? They're like, I mean, I appreciate everybody's comments. I appreciate people viewing on stuff and like buttons and subscribe and all that kind of nonsense. But it realistically get down to brass tacks. Like when people kick in $1 a month of the money that they've made themselves, I'm like, damn it, thank you. You know, like it's a big deal to me. So, you know, it's kind of how it goes. Alex Aquarium Science just showed up. How's it going, everyone? It's going pretty good. We're having a weird Monday show, and it's my show, and it's always weird. You know, I'm talking about my show. It's a one-man show today. We're graced by Bentley on Saturday, and Alyssa Bentley on last Friday. So we got those two with not me being all by myself. Oh, that reminds me. We got a video today. We might as well just pop over to the old video here. Check that out. We got some video and a baby in the corner. This is not a very good video. You guys actually see me manually zoom in and zoom out. Anyhow, like we were talking about cameras and stuff like that. Like this is shot on my 6D Mark II. Just a nice camera that I find does a pretty good job once you kind of figure out the settings and stuff like that. Shooting video, I'm not pissed. I'm not pissed at the video on here. There are some downsides to this camera, though. So at some point in time, I am going to have to upgrade from this for video and kind of move this one somewhere else and probably just sell it to somebody for cheap. You know, it's going to have to happen at some point in time, but, you know, definitely for now, like, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at the video. I mean, it's pretty good. As long as you get the lighting correct and, you know, your shutter speed and your aperture and your exposure and your white balance and your blah, blah, blah. You know, it's a lot going on, but that's all good. Eric78. Oh, there we go. He posted up, reposted from earlier. I was just answering the, can you have too much oxygen? Is it possible to over-oxygenate an aquarium? Yes, but you're going to have to do some kind of outside, O2 under pressure tank stuff. So if you're literally just moving air from our atmosphere out here, I don't think you could overdo it. I mean, like I said earlier, it'd be all crazy in there like a hot tub. You know what I mean? When you turn the bubbles on in a hot tub and it's all going buck wild, and somebody from your graduating high school class shows up and you just regret having gotten into a hot tub in the first place. You guys know what I'm talking about. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's some weirdo from high school. He's in the hot tub and he's wearing a Speedo. I just wrote this song, so don't demonetize this video. Right? Is that how that goes? I don't know. The coffee's kicking in, bros. This is some of that fresh Folgers. It's coffee. It comes in a can with a seal top. Da-da-da. Right? It's delicious. Is it good for you? Probably not. I wouldn't think that it's very good. Ba-da-da. I don't think that it's very good for you. Do. Yeah, I love playing with the camera while the show is live in front of thousands of people. It's always a good time. Let me read some chat. Alyssa Bentley says, "Oh, gotcha. Well, honestly, the 3.0 Lite grows crypt spiralis like crazy." Yes, I can testify to that. I've actually got some Cryptocoryne retro spiralis very tiger. Right. I got some of that from Alyssa Bentley, and I got some of that from Kevin Buchanali all the way down in Oregon. So they're most likely two different sources, I'm guessing. I had to drive hundreds and hundreds of miles to go get the other one, right? And the other one, Alyssa brought to my house, which is about as cool as it gets. It's about as cool as it gets. Somebody bring me a really cool plant to my house is about as cool as it gets. Shelby, Ray, and Preston, by the way, don't worry. Your gift packages are coming. Just as a reminder, they are coming. Do not distress. I've got all the bags. I've got all the new clippings ready to go. And I am scheduled to be working for like 15 hours a day for the next 3 days. So hopefully Friday morning I get them out. If not, I'm going to do it on Saturday morning. So those will be heading out to you guys soon with some cool plants in it that you see in the video back here. Not only do I have some Peruensis, I don't have any of the Crypt Tiger yet that's going to be able to go out to you guys. And I don't know when that plant has really started growing. It's really doing well. It hasn't sent out a bunch of runners yet, and I moved it, so it's kind of pissed at me, but it's actually grown really well. I haven't propagated it real hard, but the Pogostemon erectus and that Rotella atra, a bunch of other plants too, some Senegalensis, a couple other things, probably some Cryptocoryne nuris and some of the rare crypts that I got and stuff like that. So I'll be sending out some of those. Longhouse is wondering if I ever sell trimmings. No, I don't. Realistically, the Aquarium Co-op being one of our affiliate sponsors, like I definitely am just like, hey man, if you guys need some good plants, I definitely would go to the Aquarium Co-op. They're pretty awesome, and I do work up there on their system sometimes, so I can testify. The water quality is really good, and they're doing really well. So. But I don't sell plants because one of the big things that I want to do moving forward is, we're trying to do a makerspace. It's one of the things that we're trying to sponsor, and that's, we want to try to take over a commercial space, that does have a parking lot. It has, daylight hours and stuff like that. It really is one of those things. We're trying to do that makerspace that would have cameras in it available, or people that could show up with cameras to film stuff. We'd have tanks set up in there all the time so that some of the tanks that you guys see, on YouTube, you'd be able to, come by, get plant clippings or something like that, or come to live events, or be online and have live events online. There's not a lot of people doing that kind of stuff, and I think it's pretty important to try and get more of that stuff out there, so we do get more opportunities to, see people. Like if George Farmer came to town, we'd be able to have him come out to the Makerspace, do a live thing for some of the people that are around live, and also be able to broadcast it. So the Makerspace is something that definitely is going on, and it may or may not someday, if it does happen, have things like plant trimmings and things like that, if people could come by, and it's a possibility, or have things on hand or whatever. I don't know. Alana Suki spent too much on aquariums this month, though. Need to be good. I know how that is. Stick with your budget, guys. Don't go all over your budget and go all crazy. So let's see. Bracken says, I would bring you plants, but everything I have, you already have, so it would be redundant. Bracken, just come hang out sometime. You don't have to bring me plants, bro. Just come hang out. I like hanging out with Bracken. He's a good dude. And maybe we could dream about doing the Makerspace together someday. We could be like, it's the Bracken and Gerald show. It smells like farts. Wait, why does it smell like farts? 'Cause they farting. Why were we farting? I don't know. Was we eating burritos or something? I don't know. It's weird. Every time the Makerspace comes up, I just want to take my credit card out and throw it at the screen. You guys, you have to understand, I have the exact same thing. Is that, like, when I started to think about that stuff, I'm like, maybe I just try to get a crazy business loan. But to be honest with you guys, I did talk to, a business loan officer, like, boss guy. He's like the boss of that. And we actually went on a long hike a while back. It was like, 3-4 hour hike together where we actually talked about, the plausibility of it, or just maybe not the plausibility, but the possibility. Like if it was something that could be a business loan. And he was doubtful. Like he was kind of like, I get what you're on, but he was like, it just doesn't seem like there's enough to show the bank that they would make their money back. So, which I know because I've been in on those meetings with the bank of doing the business proposal and stuff like that, and they will add in crazy stuff to your business. Like if you're opening a restaurant, they're like, you have to sell liquor. Like, you can't open a restaurant on a business loan from a bank and not sell alcohol, which is crazy. Because I'm like, if I was ever going to open a restaurant, I probably would not be selling alcohol. Just out of, I probably would do beer and wine. You know what I mean? Like, I probably would do that these days. I've been sober for a really long time. It would be weird to have liquor around all the time. But, like, beer and wine would probably... I probably would do that, yeah. Shelby got boosts on wood from the co-op, and it's doing awesome. It flowered. Oh, dude, that's awesome. I have to tell you, it's pretty cool when Anubias flowers, but realistically, you feel like a baller when the Bucephalandra is flowering. The Bucephalandra is flowering, is very, very exciting. The one that gets me every time nowadays is the Cryptocrine Nurii. When that one flowers, that one's mind bending. I mean, not to be rude or anything like that, but my boosters flower a lot, so I see that a lot, and I still dig it. It's still awesome. But when the Crypt Nurii, when they flower, I'm like, oh, that's a win, right? Dang it, duckweed and dog hair, the bane of my existence. Oh, that's awesome. Trevor says maybe showcase a few paintings in the Makerspace. Yeah, I probably would. I think we definitely would. If not, If not my art, probably some other art, you know, like other artists like Jody right here, back here with this mandala, which I literally was like, I want aquarium plants. So like, let's check this out. Let me switch over scene here. So I got to go bigger. There we go. So I literally said to her, you know, what I was looking for. And then she was like, I don't know. I don't really know much about that. Because I was like, I want crystal shrimp theme, aquarium stuff. I want aquarium plants, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I don't really know about any of that stuff. And I was like, so I sent her detailed leaf pictures of some stuff, right? And then I was like, crystal shrimp are white and red. And she was like, oh, I've got it. And this is just so cool. This is not what I thought it was going to be. I don't know what I thought it was going to be. I didn't really have that much of an expectation, but this is awesome. Like I said, I posted the website earlier, and like I said before, I don't make any money off of this. So this is strictly just I commissioned this mandala that I have, right? So that means I paid for it. I organized it ahead of time. I paid for it, and out of pocket. And I don't make any money off the sales if you guys go buy one, but at the very least, you guys can go look at the detail on that one and look at a bunch of other mandalas and probably check out some of them that you haven't seen yet, because I commissioned 3 of them. So I definitely, you know, throw some money out there, commission some things so you guys can get a chance to check out stuff, and I get to buy some art, which is rad. But I definitely would highlight some stuff there, that's for sure. UG Aquatics says some boosts is stupid hard to get rolling really well. Corvus, I have a Nurii pink line. Whoa. This species is stupid tough, grows fast too. Multiplied 4 times in the 4 past months of me owning it. 5 plants. Ooh, that is really cool. I'd love to see some pictures or something of that. That is rad. Let's see. Red bottom duckweed from Bracken. That sounds like red root floaters. Oh, Melissa says red root floaters. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's some red bottom duckweed. It's true the dog hair keeps the fish and plants happy. That's a good point. But I see my little alarm going off over here. We gotta end the show for today. All right, guys. I love you very much. Big shout out, big thank you to Alvin Alejo, Dylan Martin, Jacob White, Terry's Tropical Tanks, the Fish Tank Barn, and Boston, Maine, Mike for your support today. Also, big shout out to everybody else. From Patreon on Friday, James Smith edited his pledge up to $5. Thank you very much. Alex's Aquarium Science also a little up of the old ante on the Patreon. Thank you very much, you guys. Your support does not fall on deaf ears. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm saying, which you should kind of know what I'm saying to some degree. If not, you can re-listen to it on the way back on the other side. Don't forget to hit that like button if you guys are still here. Whoever is still here, click over, hit the like button or the dislike button or whatever. Hit the little 3-dot button and share it out, or hit the little arrow button and share it out to somebody. Blah, 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 blah. Do all that kind of stuff. And, have a fantastic time out there in the world doing whatever it is that you guys do. And, just keep doing it. Just keep doing what you guys got to do. And hitting the member button and the super chat and $1 million. By the way, wherever T Frakes Tanks is, was it? No, it's Frank Factor was the 500. Wherever Frank Factor is, man. Somebody on Facebook was asking me the other day. It was like, "Is it real that somebody super chatted you $500?" And I'm like, "Yeah. Here's a freaking screenshot of it. It really happened. It's a real thing." And it's just, thanks, man. It's buck wild. It's buck wild. But I want to tell you,
There's somebody out there with 1 million subscribers, and you blew his super chat right out of the water. It's big time. That's big time.